Hey everyone, welcome. If you are catching me on the replay, sorry to have missed you. I now have a schedule down below, so now you actually know when I'm going to be live, like actual dates. It's always a Tuesday, just the dates are sometimes weird. So if you want to know when I'm going to be live next, it is going to be next week. And then I kind of have the rest of the schedule going into the new year now, finally. And yeah, guys, and then this week we've got a new video coming up, and that is my top tips on how to be a better reader. I'll talk about that more in a bit, but I'm still going to do kind of a group reading tonight, so stick around for that. I always do that for a replay, and then I kind of jump into individual readings. So if you want to catch me live next time, you can be here next week, and be sure to see that. Hi, Erica. Hello, Daniel, sorry. So tonight, kind of the theme of tonight, I know tonight wasn't technically on the calendar, but I decided to kind of do an impromptu night. And that was mostly because I actually wanted to practice with some tarot tonight, so we're going to do that. But then also I just decided on a whim that I was going to get another tarot deck because I have a problem. So I actually got the Moonology Manifestation Oracle cards. I have not even opened these yet, so I am going to open them tonight, and we're going to just kind of look at them. So if you're curious, because these are like brand spanking new, I believe, and you want to just like see the artwork on them, stick around. I'm going to just kind of go through them quickly before we get into our group reading. And I am now going to set my timer, and this timer is for members. And so when this timer goes off, whatever member comments the closest to it gets a free reading tonight. Otherwise, the individual readings are free if nobody is donating, but if people are donating, I get to those people first. Alrighty, hello Michelle, hi PM. Popped up right when I needed you. Awesome, that's funny, Bunny Rabbit 803. We have another person in here that has a very similar handle. Hello Lori, we have a lot of new faces tonight. Okay, I keep trying to like go over here to open these. And I did want to mention that next week we are going to be doing kind of like a special night where we're talking about the new year, the new moon that's going to come up, like right, I want to say it's January 2nd, and just kind of talk about how we can set intentions for the new year, how we can go. Actually, next week is also going to be winter solstice, so it's going to be like a super special night. We're going to be on the solstice together. We are going to be setting ideas for intentions for that new moon, also for the new year. I am going to have a pick a card reading up for the new year. It is literally going to come out the Friday that is the 31st, I believe. So we'll talk about that as well, because I'm actually going to record that this week. And I want to get your opinions on kind of what you guys want to know about the new year, because there's so many pick a cards out there, but I want to do some things that you're not like expecting / used to. I'm going to do a very special like big spread that's called the Wheel of the Year. Probably going to use these cards in it, but let me know like when you think about, okay, the new year and what I want to think about and do for the new year, like what do I need to know? What is the energy that I'm curious about for the new year? And I'll see if I can't squeeze it into that pick a card that I film Friday. And again, that'll be out by the end of the year. I think that's it. But yeah, next week we'll just be doing like winter solstice, new moon, all sorts of fun stuff. Because basically the rest of the year I'm going to be doing family things, and I'm going to be out of town, so I won't be able to do any more lives. Thank you, PM. Hold tight. I actually finally got a sticky note because I was like, you know what? I keep skipping people, so I'm going to write people down. Hello, Lori. We got 2 Loris in here. This was from high school. Hi, Erica. Nice to meet you. First time on live with a subscriber. Awesome. Nice. Alrighty, you guys. So let's jump into, I want to unbox this sucker. So I'm going to do this really quick, and I'm going to pull some cards from it for our group reading. So I haven't even like pre-pulled it. So this is the Moonology Manifestation cards. And I will say, this is by Yasmin Bolin. And if you guys watched my video on kind of like Christmas gifts, I bought her Moonology 2022 journal. So these are actually going to go really well with them, and I'm really excited to use it. This was her first deck, and this is a knockoff brand, so it would look a lot nicer if you got the original. And her original one is called Moonology Oracle cards. I'm going to sort of compare them tonight, just like artwork and how I use them, and kind of give you guys my opinions on which one is better. So that's her original. I don't know if this is like her second one. Oh, so pretty. It feels, goodness, I'm just going to throw it at you guys. It feels like super soft. So this says, attune to the moon and manifest miracles on the inside. It's rare that people decorate the insides of these decks. And I got a beautiful guidebook. I'll have to go through this later, but it looks like, oh, cool. So it has the magical lunar cycle, how to work with the cards, but then it actually has all the cards separated out by new moon, first quarter moon, full moon, last quarter moon. And then it's got them all, like every single sign written down. And the reason why I got these is I'm trying to learn a little bit more about astrology and the signs. So I feel like if you're not really into astrology, probably not the deck for you. Looks like there's an introduction. I see some spreads in here. And then a description of each card. There's no pictures, though, which probably saves them a lot of space. All right. And then, oh my gosh, these are gorgeous. I don't know if my lighting is doing it justice, but it's got the moon on the back and crystals in the corners, and it's kind of like iridescent. It's like purple, blue, kind of like, I think of like opals. And I'll just kind of thumb through the artwork of a few of these. They are very sticky still. Gosh, I love the artwork on these way more than the other one. They're just a little bit more complex, and they actually have the signs up in the corners. Thank you, Lori. I'll get to you in a second. Ooh, I love that. Ram. Full moon in Leo, and it's got this seems like it's going to be so helpful for learning the Libra, and then we got the scales. Maybe this is really good if you're trying to learn, because then you've got all the symbols and signs, and as you're pulling cards for yourself or other people. Oh, it's Pisces. It's probably going to help you memorize them. And another thing that I like about this is it actually has little phrases at the bottom of like what the cards mean, which is really helpful if you don't know what the last quarter moon in Capricorn is. All right. Thank you, Bunny Rabbits. All right. We got so many people I'm already going to have to catch up on. And I was not planning on being on super late tonight, but obviously I will get to you guys. All right. You have wanted this deck for a long time. Thanks for the review. Yes. I saw it on sale and I was like, screw it, I'm going to buy it. And it was completely a whim. It's definitely, I would say, maybe like a hair short of a normal Oracle deck. At least that it feels that way. They are also color coordinated. Are they to like the signs? I guess that makes sense. Gosh, new moon in Virgo. I guess that makes sense. Like Virgos are very earthy signs. Cool beans. All right, I don't want to spend too long on them, but those are the Moonology manifestation cards. They're more focused on manifestation, whereas I think these ones weren't so much. So we're going to use them tonight and see how they play out. Oh, the bottom of the other side is just a beautiful picture of the moon. And if you guys want to get your own version, I do have it linked down below if you want to get to it quickly. And just as always, if you guys buy through my affiliate links, I always get a tiny percentage. So it helps me and it helps the channel out. And it is at no additional cost to you. So sorry. No, don't apologize. That's why I'm here. Nice deck. I know. It's so pretty. Okay. I am going to also be using the tarot deck because I finished my tarot classes and I'm purposely trying to get practice. And if you guys are following me on Instagram, you will probably have seen that I've done a few stories where I'm like, throw me a question and I'll pull a card. So make sure you're following my Instagram stories because I'm probably going to do that again, probably on Thursday. You saw me first on Joyce's channel. Oh, yay. Thank you. Yeah, I need to pop over and say hello to Joyce. It's been a minute. Hey, Johnny. All right, guys, let me just do a really quick group reading for everyone. That's one thing that I definitely like a little bit more about tarot cards versus oracle cards. They're a lot easier to shuffle. Tarot cards are way thinner. All right, so we want the energy for this week for everyone watching replay or live tonight. What do we need to know right now? Oh, heck yes. Okay, and I'm going to try to shuffle these even though they're very new and very sticky. Hello, Jenna! And I will get to those donated readings first thing when I wrap up this group reading. All right. Bam. Ooh, interesting. Okay. So I'll show you what I pulled. So first I pulled 10 of Pentacles, which is a fantastic sign. This is the sign of wealth, of practical things being taken care of. It's very like earthly matters. It could be finances, it could be a roof over your head, but this is basically saying that your earthly concerns and matters are taken care of. It's coming to a completion. You have everything that you need. And this like old guy is sitting here with a fancy robe. He's got his fancy castle. He's got all this money and people and everything around him is awesome. And I'm sort of reading that card as like a good sign of like, if you've been worried about money, if you've been worried about like the stability of everything, it's okay. Like it's covered, it's coming your way. Especially with, and I pulled, gosh, these are so pretty. So this is the last quarter moon in Cancer, and I'm going to have to, I know new moons, full moons, waxing and waning, but the quarter moons I am learning and I do not exactly understand, but that's a great thing about using your psychic abilities is you can just ask and use your intuition to read cards, even if you don't have the cards memorized. So this is saying to take a breather, and I believe, okay, yeah, so that sign is Cancer, and to me, Cancers are very like emotional, and even if you're not like that sign, I think what's coming through here is that we've been very emotional. Maybe you've been very worried about like practical matters, finances. For some of you, I'm just hearing like the logistics of dealing with like the holidays that are coming up. It's just like having enough time to get around to all the things you have to get around to. Take a breather from it. Make sure that you're taking off some time in between to really take care of yourself. And when you kind of calm down and get out of the emotions, it's going to be a lot easier to see kind of this abundance that's coming your way. And the last card I pulled for the group, Full Moon in Capricorn. And see, these are going to be so helpful because Capricorn is a symbol that I do not have memorized. And it says, take a reality check. The only thing I'm like already feeling about these cards is that I feel like you kind of need a different deck to supplement it. Because I worry they have just like, I feel like all of these like suggestions or advice at the bottom of these are kind of very individual. Maybe not. I guess I need to read with it more, but sorry, tangent. Take a reality check. I'm kind of feeling like this is like one stopping and saying, you know what, I am abundant and I'm not appreciating it. Maybe I need to sit down and make like a gratitude list so that I can see all the things I am cared for with my material life, with everything that's around me. Because maybe you're just like aren't seeing it and you're not seeing the reality of it. And then the other half of this that I'm getting is sort of like having a reality check about your like expectations. Are your expectations like way too high with this? Like, are you expecting for everything to be perfect and figured out by tomorrow? Is that really fair? I want to pull another card. Let me pull one more card, and I'm going to actually do it from the tarot. I'm just going to ask how we can handle this. Ooh! And I'm really enjoying reading tarot cards because I feel like they're actually giving me a whole new perspective than oracle cards are. And the 10 of Pentacles, so this is doing all the inner work around money, around finances, around your like outward life, your I need a better word for it. It's like your day-to-day stuff. It's the roof over your head, the money, the practical concerns, putting food on your table. And this is all about doing the inner work. So that's kind of like, having those ideas and thinking about them and deciding if they're going to work, paying attention to your emotions, inner work. I also think of like shadow work. And this is kind of like doing the mental side of it before you jump into like getting it done. I hope that makes sense. And so that's kind of how we can handle this energy that's coming through. But at the very least, know that you are definitely being provided for. And maybe that's just something we needed to hear as a group. Awesome. So I don't want to spend too much longer on that. I want to get back to the individual readings. All right. And I'm going to try to force myself to do tarot mostly. Your reaction makes me excited. About what? About the cards? You're a Cancer sun. Capricorn and Cancers are mirrors of each other. Oh, are they? See, this is why I wanted these. I want to learn more about everything. I do know Virgo and Pisces are on opposite ends because I'm a Virgo and a Pisces. You can use them with the first Moonology deck. Oh, I guess I could. Heck, maybe I will. That's a good idea. All right, I'm going to jump back up to our first donation. So this is for PM. Question to my guides. Is it in the best interest for my husband, partner invest in a restaurant? Is it in the best interest for my husband maybe to invest in that? Whatever the question is. What's the advice here? That's what I'm going to ask. Asking the question for PM. Ooh, okay. And one of the things that my tarot teacher taught me was like, sometimes you can just look at the cards very literally and judge it based off of the artwork. And this one always gives me the impression of walking away from something, PM. Like this is saying that, all of the things, all the cups are not quite there yet. And this guy's kind of going off on a journey because he's missing something. So to me, this is saying it's not necessarily a no, but he needs to kind of go work on something, find something, especially with cups. Cups are all about emotion, intuition. So maybe he kind of needs to take a step back, tune into his intuition, how he actually feels about it instead of being like so logical. Which is kind of like the sword energy, whereas cups are more of that like trust in your heart, trust in your intuition. And so to me, this is walking away from it a little bit to maybe gather more information. You can even see this moon. This moon is like, I don't know about this. So let me pull one additional card from this very sticky new deck. I wonder if I can... This can take me a few times to shuffle it. Normally. That did not work. Okay. There we go. Ish. Okay. I'm going to have to just work on that in my own time, but I am feeling that card. Ooh, step into your power. Ooh, this is interesting because we have the solar plexus chakra on here, as well as Aries. So to me, the first thing that I'm kind of getting with this card, PM, is maybe there's just like a lack of confidence. Like he's definitely not trusting his own intuition or judgment on this whole thing. And so I think he needs to stop listening to everybody else, kind of tune into his own power, his own intuition around it, and kind of get grounded in that and what he believes and stop kind of listening to everything else. And then he's going to be able to better make that decision. Again, this doesn't mean that it's a bad idea as a whole. It's just like more information is needed, and that information needs to come from him instead of everyone else. So I hope that helps. Thank you, PM. All right, and somebody else just donated. Thank you, Amber. I'm writing you down because I'm really bad at catching up. Or I'm really bad at missing people, I should say. All right, so Lori is next. Thank you, Lori. Where did it go? Gosh dang it. Lori, can you please tell me about my Scorpio? I am Virgo. Found pay? LOL. I will say too, you guys, not that I can't do it, but it helps me because when you say Scorpio, there's a ton of Scorpios out there. So to make sure I'm tuning into the right energy, sometimes it helps if you can just give me their first name and even like a last name, because then I can say that person versus just like Scorpio, which could be technically a lot of people. But tip for those of you who are readers out there, sometimes you can just, if you don't have that information, what you can say is, guides, I want to talk, or I want to know about whoever Lori is talking about, whoever this person is and whoever she's thinking about, you know, even though I might not have the perfect information about that person, that's who I'm connecting to, or that's who I'm asking about. Okay, so you did a little bit more information. Let's get... I'm trying to decide what spread to do. I'm just going to kind of ask about his personality, or their personality. And I'm hearing to pull 2 cards just purely around that. Definitely a hard worker. So bump down here and see John. Okay. Bunny Rabbit. Yeah, Bunny Rabbit, you are next. I'm working on the person above you. So, Lori, I immediately got that he's like a hard worker. This is somebody who has like a ton of things on their hands. This guy's like gathering all of his wands and he's trying to carry them all, almost to a point where he might get like a little exhausted by it. But this is saying like he's got a lot of passions, a lot of things that he's excited about. And I'm just, you know, psychically hearing that might be a little stressful at times because you're like, I don't know, like, is he concentrating on me? Is he too distracted? And I think if there's like a worry possibly about money or like, can he provide? This card is definitely coming through of like, he's set, he's stable. And, you know, because he's got the coins under his feet, he's got it on top of his head, and he's holding one. And this could sort of be seen maybe a little bit as like hoarding. I don't quite see it too much that way, as much as like somebody who's secure. Like the number 4 is about stability and security. And so I feel like that's probably also his focus right now. He's focused on the things he's excited about. He's trying to manifest like the desires that he wants, and he's going to be very successful in it. Now, I'm going to ask, because I'm sure your reading is a little bit more about like your relationship with him is what I'm guessing. You kind of want to ask about. Whoa. Ooh, shut up right now. I'm getting so much better at reading tarot, you guys. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm just like so excited that like these cards are coming out and I instantly know what they mean. And because I've memorized them, not because I'm doing it intuitively. You can do both, but it's nice to have both parts memorized. So, Lori, both of these are 3s, and this is like the sign of harmony. This is the sign of coming together. So the 3 of Cups, that's all about heart emotions, and it's literally 3 women dancing, and there's like all this abundance and harvest around them. And then this one is kind of almost like the same thing on the masculine side. It's like these three men are building this monastery, church, something together. There's like the builder, the church dude, and the architect. And it's all about cooperation and, not out competing anybody. So to me, this is actually a really good sign that you guys are going to work really well together. If not a romantic relationship, definitely a strong friendship. And I'm just going to pull one from my new deck. Actually, they're telling me two, just to kind of ask like what you can do to further this along. Let your fears dissolve. Take a reality check. Ooh, interesting. So I'm getting this like dichotomy, which is probably what you're like confused on, because the let your fears dissolve is very much like about this, like, hey, this could really work. Like your fears about, whether he would be a provider, whether it would work out, are kind of silly. But the reality check is kind of also like, hey, be practical about this. Like, have you even talked to him? Do you like go and start that conversation? Do you need to hang out a little bit more? Do you actually need to show that you're interested? Or, even if you're already doing that, the energy is sort of like, what would the equivalent be if like you're already hanging out with each other? It's kind of like, well, what do I need to do to like further these steps along? What do I need to do to show that I'm kind of more serious about this? Or even just what do I need to do in myself that I need to kind of get rid of the fears or the hopes that are really a little too high? I hope I'm making sense. And so I feel like you're kind of mixing it up as like, oh, well, I don't deserve it. It's not going to work out. But this is really saying it could. But also like do these reality checks of like, am I really like being practical about this? I think that's what I'm trying to say. It's like stay grounded, but also be more hopeful. It's like these two things. And I feel like you're not being hopeful and you're also not very grounded in your expectations. I think that's what's coming through. Gosh, tarot is so cool. I love how much information you can get from such little cards. Alrighty, thank you, Lori. Let me just jump down. Yes, LOL, we are. Okay. Yeah, and I think, Lori, it's more like where are you not being practical? Where are you not saying, like, oh, hey, maybe I need to do this if I want to further this along. Or maybe I'm, causing problems and I need to kind of check myself. I think that's kind of what that last card is about. I hope that works out, though. I feel like that was all good stuff. All right, Bunny Rabbit is next. Is this a paper reading? I hope so. I'd like to know what will happen for me on tonight's hike. Ooh. Let's hope you don't get eaten by a bear. Just kidding. Hello, Carolyn. I have wanted a... Oh, you already said that, and I already answered that. I'm just making sure Bunny Rabbit didn't provide any other information. Okay. What will happen for me? Oh, and this is Erica. Tonight's hike. I can feel like your hopes and your expectations around it. And I feel like I can feel your excitement, but you're also like not wanting to like work it up too much. I'm hearing that there's several things that can happen. And it's like all dependent on like how you react and readjust to the situation. Like if something happens and then you start like doubting yourself or like freaking out, then it'll affect the next situation in a negative way. Or if you do something really well and then get overly confident, it'll like affect the next situation. So it's almost like the impressions that I'm getting is like so much could happen and so much could change. And so to really get out of the idea of trying to do it perfectly and more just setting the intention overall of what you want it to look like. because I feel like this is you right now, and I feel like this hike could actually have a lot of good opportunities. I feel like you're going with other people for some reason, or maybe there's somebody there that you like are into. I could be wrong on that, but the point of this card is like the universe is trying to like hand you something awesome. You know, they're trying to give you like a gift, some abundance, and this guy's under the tree and he's like, no. He's like, I don't want it. Or maybe he's just not aware of it. Maybe he doesn't see it. And so your guys are trying to sort of say like, look at tonight as like there are things that are good that can happen from it. But if you kind of have this attitude of like self-doubt or trying to control it or trying to, I don't know, force it to be like something specific, I feel like you're going to miss all the good parts. And I feel like that is totally true of like anything in life when we're trying to force it to be a certain way. And then we get mad that it's not turning out exactly how we idealized it. Then we kind of get ourselves into a funk, and then it's like we're not enjoying ourselves. Like that's kind of the overall message that I'm getting, is to really get out of your head about it, especially with this Ace of Swords. This is saying that your guides are going to be here. They're going to be giving you ideas and thoughts around kind of how to manage it. And, you know, I'm getting that they're going to give you intuitive hits. It's more about trusting your intuition, trusting your heart, and that bigger thing of setting an intention of what you want it to be. And it shouldn't be an intention like, I want to go there, I want to say this, I want to do this, and then I want to go there, and then I want to do that. It should be a little bit bigger and more vague. I want to be my true self on this hike, or I want the night to just be like happy and pleasant. I want to enjoy myself versus like I feel like you're trying to get way specific with it. Like I feel like you're trying to like impress somebody and trying to like be like, then we're going to go here and then we're going to go there. I wonder if I'm like totally off, but whatever it is, I feel like the minutia that you're trying to control and they're kind of like, take a step back. Don't get into it. Don't get into your thoughts too much. Just remember to enjoy yourself and follow the intention of, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to enjoy my time. I'm not going to worry about what I look like. I'm just going to enjoy myself. And then let's pull one more card. These might work really well for advice. I think these cards are really good because they literally have an advice at the bottom. Aquarius, reflect on your priorities. Oh my gosh. And to me, this is saying like basically the same thing of like, what are your priorities right now? Is it so much concerned about the other people, how it's supposed to go? You know, like what are the exact steps? And it's like, what should your priority be? You know, and like really what I'm getting is your priority should be, I'm going to be happy and have fun for me. And then, you know, that'll affect the rest of the night in a positive way. Because like what I'm seeing is like when you're enjoying yourself and you're being happy, then it kind of affects everyone else in a positive way. I hope that makes sense. I hope your hike goes well, Bunny Rabbit. All right. I missed the UK grew up there. Oh, somebody from the UK. Did I miss it? Oh, you're right there. Kat. Hi, I'm new from the UK. Yeah, I'm at such a bad time for you folks in the UK. I'm like, I think it's like literally the middle of the night for you. All right. I think I'm on Amber now. Hello, Alley Cat. Amber, any advice on moving out of state or moving in with my ex in town? Yeah, let's look at both of those scenarios. And since you did a little bit more, I'll pull a few more cards on it. Okay, so we want to know moving out of state, and then moving in with your ex. And this was a cool spread that I learned in my classes. And it's one card. Instead of doing like, I usually do pros and cons for stuff like this, but it's saying for whatever the situation is, pull one card for what energy you should be avoiding, and then pull one card for the energy that you should be leaning more towards. So let's start with moving out of state. So what we want to avoid, is expecting the universe to just hand us magical money from thin air. That's what we want to avoid. So if you feel like moving out of state requires like money that is not there and you're just like, I don't know, maybe it'll come. That's kind of the energy we should be avoiding with moving out of state. What energy you should be moving towards is definitely like, I take this card as like hard work. I'm sure everyone will look at this differently, but this is going after the things that you're excited about, putting in the hard work to do it so that you can reap the actual benefits. So if you are wanting to move out of state, it's more embracing the energy of like, I'm going to have to work hard for it, but that's okay. I'm going to come from a place of like, I'm excited. I want to manifest the money in a very practical way versus just waiting for it to be handed to me out of thin air, because that's definitely not going to happen. So let's jump next to moving in with your ex. Oh, oh, okay. we got two major arcana cards. So what should we be avoiding with your ex? This card is literally about reviving the old. So, well, and I guess this doesn't mean you couldn't move in with him, but this is like making sure you're not trying to revive that relationship. Because I love this card, even though it says judgment, this angel is like waking these people up from the dead. Actually, they're like in coffins, and this angel's like giving them a second chance. So we don't want to be giving any second chances to this ex. And I'm laughing just because these are so like perfect. What we want to be moving towards with the decision of moving in with your ex is understanding that you can manifest anything. This is the magician, and he is the guy that basically, he is the version of yourself that manifests anything out of thin air and understands that they can do this. And so honestly, the whole vibe of what I'm getting with this is like, I feel like you're not trusting in your ability to work hard to manifest things. And because of it, you're kind of going for options that are crappier or that are going to put you in a worse situation. So with both of these options, the bigger thing is to definitely understand that you've got to manifest it. You've got to make it work on your own. You have to put in the hard work. As far as like which one you should be leaning towards, let me pull... I'm just going to pull one of these cards. Yeah, okay, making sure there's not two here. Take a breather. So I definitely think you need to take... Oh, that's my timer. Hold on, Amber. Just got to bump down. Eureka! Okay, so Eureka, you get the free reading for tonight because she was the one who commented closest to the timer. So if you are a member, that happens every time I go live. So Eureka, throw up your message. I'm also going to write your name down so I don't forget. Honestly, what I'm getting here is to take a breather from like trying to figure it out and sit more in this energy of like, why do I feel like I can't manifest this, that I can't put in the hard work to make my own money so that I can be where I want to be. And I'm honestly leaning more towards the moving out of state purely because I feel like the adding the X on top of it is just another like issue that you would have to add. Did I answer that question? I think I did. All right. I hope that makes sense, Amber. Thank you so much for your donation. That is a weird emoji. Is it a lemon? It's a lemon dancing, and its heart is crazy. Okay. 1111 here. Hi, Laura. We got a bunch of people popping in tonight. Okay, thank you again. Yes, love your energy. Going with my two girlfriends. I'm afraid of my power. That's a perfect emoji for that. All right. I speak my truth is next. Let me just catch up on the comments and I'll bump back up to you. Ooh, mango slushy, yummy. Wow, so right on. I get it, Amber. I've been like that too. I get so frustrated and I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to choose the shitty option. But I know that I have to just put in the work and I don't want to. Good to see you too, Amanda. Thanks for popping in. I didn't know how to pay. I didn't know what I was doing. I guess I paid to have an emotion con or whatever you call them sent out. Yeah, I don't know. You can like literally send the like emoticon, or you can just send the money without. And I take both. I think it's honestly for people who have like so many people live that people want to pay for like the emoticon, so maybe they actually get seen. Because there's some people that will just like send money, and will never even like get acknowledged. I feel like that's more on like the gaming YouTuber channels. All right, I think I speak my truth, and then you're cut, and then we'll be all caught up. All right, I speak my truth. And this week's video, you guys, is going to be a little bit longer, but I'm actually super proud of it. I feel like I'm giving away a lot of really kind of like more advanced tips that I really don't have anywhere else. I don't think I've mentioned quite a bit of it in some of my videos, but this is kind of like, if you are a reader, even if you're reading for yourself, here's like the things you can really do to like up-level yourself as a reader. So that's going to come out this Friday. I'm excited to see what you guys think of it. My doggo is barking. I speak my truth. We got the moon. All right. I feel like I can't do anything more than like a couple cards, but I'm starting to weave them together. So the moon, everyone interprets this card differently. It's very much like about intuition and like kind of the subconscious. Oh my gosh. He must have found like a squirrel or something. Hang on. Ash! Stop it! Or a cat, maybe. I don't want him to bother my neighbors. Okay. Sorry. So the moon card, this is actually kind of about like, how are you portraying yourself to other people? I speak my truth. Like, what is the mask that you're wearing? Like, what are you hiding from other people or from yourself? And it's kind of like, sun versus moon. The sun is kind of like your outward energy. It's how you sort of portray yourself. It's kind of your identity. Whereas the moon is like, what is it that you're hiding, if that makes sense? And it's often associated with, again, intuition, subconscious. I want to check my notes because my guides are telling me I'm missing something about this card. I think the major arcana cards are the ones that I'm still learning. Illusions. Oh, misunderstanding. That's what it is. So it's kind of like, when you wear these masks, you're putting out an illusion of like who you are, and it can cause misunderstanding. So I need to remember that. And so I asked, like, how can we work with this energy? And this is the 9 of Cups. And this guy is like sitting here with all of his cups, and he's like, yeah. And the energy that I feel with this card, I feel like it's actually pretty happy because of all like the bright colors. And to me, this is like being a master of your emotions and kind of like your heart. And to me, this is saying like, connect with you, connect with who you are, how you actually feel, and make sure that's being reflected on the outside as well. And then you're not having to worry about like, am I putting up a mask for somebody, or am I not being true to my emotions or my intentions? And I think that that must be important for you to know right now. So I'm going to pull one card for you out of my new deck. I just cannot get over the backs of these cards. I think these are like my favorite backs of like any of the decks that I have. You can't really see it, but there's like multiple layers of like, I don't know what to call it, shapes. Oh, okay. So we just got this card again. I don't have too much memorized about Aquarius, but this is reflect on your priorities. And so I feel like this is kind of like an additional thing if you're like, I don't, what are my emotions? I don't know. And so maybe start here with your priorities. Like, what are you focused on? Because sometimes the things that we're focused on are things that we actually don't care about. They're things that, somebody else told us to worry about or be focused on. And so maybe because you're focusing on the things that aren't important to you, that don't light you up, that bring you joy, maybe you're not being kind of the truest version of yourself, and you're not really connecting with those emotions and being like, you know what, I don't like this. I'm uncomfortable with this. I don't want to do this anymore. So cool. I love how the tarot just adds like another depth to these readings. And I know I'm only doing a few cards, but oh, look at this one. Those sunflowers and like the dark moon and new moon in Leo shine. That's so pretty. All right. I think I had Eureka next. All right. Thank you for the donation. I speak my truth. Where am I? Well, been there, done that before I moved. Still trying to make those coins. Thank you, Rabbit. Good to see you. I already commented on these. Sorry. Is that a cat? I hear that meowed. No, maybe. I wouldn't be surprised if you're actually psychically picking up on that. I speak my truth because at night there are a ton of cats that actually sleep under the shed because they're tearing down the house that's next to me, and they used to all be like in that house and hanging out in that yard, and now they have nowhere to go. And every morning I wake up and I look out my house window, and I can see these like cats just emerging from this shed, and they all kind of like hang out and they sleep under this shed. And it probably helps that I'm warming it up in here with like my baseboard heat, and then they sleep under here. So anyway, that's like where my brain went. So maybe that's what you're picking up on. I'm excited for the intuitive games. It's her computer mouse. Oh yeah. Yeah, see, my wheel needs like some WD-40, but I know you obviously can't do that with mouse wheels. Want to ask one more question for my friend? Yeah, you can definitely ask. Ash equals feed me. I think that was his bark of like, there's something here that I don't like. I appreciate that you guys pay attention. I will go off on a tangent and say that my animals have just been like causing all sorts of problems the last couple of weeks. All of my stresses have been around my animals, and it has been rough. First, we found out that my cat was diabetic, which is like, great. Now I have a diabetic cat that I have to deal with. And so we're dealing with like putting her on meds and changing up her diet, which made her poop everywhere. And then she also has a urinary infection. So like, because she's diabetic, and that apparently causes more urinary infection. So she's peeing all over the house. And then my other cat is now having to switch diets because of her. And so he's shitting everywhere. It's just lovely. And then on top of it, my dog is supposed to go to boarding for Christmas, and they denied him boarding. And I'm like super stressed out because he doesn't have a place to go, and I'm heading out of town. Anyway, it's been a very interesting, I'm calling it manifestation of my Saturn return that I'm having a hard time with. Let's see. Not sure what I could be hiding. Maybe it's not so much hiding as like, what emotions are you hiding from? All right, so I'm going to get to Eureka because Eureka got our member reading, and then thank you, Speak My Truth. I will do your next question. Hope you well. My husband is really distant. All right. Once I catch up on donations, we can do a free reading. I'm getting close, so we'll see how much time I have left. I only wanted to do like an hour tonight. You're thinking about moving sometime next year. I've started looking at apartments online. Anything I need to know about timing or anything about the move? Ooh. My brain immediately went to the pick a card reading that I'm going to do. So like, I feel like my guides are preemptively being like, that one might help, because I'm literally going to do month by month cards for all of 2022, but we'll obviously still pull a card right now. Let's see about timing or anything about the move. And I'm going to set the intention that maybe the timing will be revealed in the Moonology deck, because that actually has like signs, and so maybe the signs associated will help you with like the month. Ooh, okay. So I just pulled 2 wand energies, the 3 and the 2. And it's interesting because both of these guys are kind of like out looking onto the horizon. And so this to me is actually saying, I pulled them this way, because one of the cool things, sorry, another side tangent. One of the cool things about tarots, and apparently you can do this with oracle cards too, is you can read them as if it's like a comic book. Like how, this guy is technically facing this way, and how does that interaction, if this were one solid picture together, like what would you interpret about this guy looking towards that guy? And so to me, this energy is like right now you're just in the planning stages, Eureka. And the fact that it's wands, this is like follow the things that get you excited. Follow, not, the money side of things. This is, or maybe not even the mental, practical side of things. This is like following your gut, following the things that get you excited. And I feel like this is you right now, and you're kind of looking out into the distance of like, what do I want to do? And I feel like this is the next phase where you're like, light bulb, everything's a bit sunnier, a little brighter, because I finally have an idea of where I want to go. But this is very like stable energy to me. And this is saying like, hey, this is like good. There's not a card saying like, hey, whoa, you shouldn't be moving. This is very much like you're planning, you're trying to figure out what this future looks like. And I feel like this is kind of answering your second question of like, what do you need to know about it? And this is like, it's okay to plan and just kind of be in those beginning stages. You don't need to have it figured out by like next week. And to me, the only other thing I'm getting with this is like, really make sure that your vision of the future, this is you now, and this is that future. Make sure it's a happy one. Make sure it's not a future that's going to make you upset, obviously. But anything we need to know about timing with this move? I just heard spring. And I feel like any longer than that, you're just going to go stir crazy, and you're going to like overanalyze every single decision. And it's more just like by spring, it's just make it happen. And I pulled full moon in Scorpio, breathe through the tension. When are Scorpio dates? I don't know any Scorpios, so I don't. Somebody throw up what month is Scorpio? So maybe that's another answer for you, Eureka. Also, this is like very deserty, so maybe that's another message of like where you're supposed to go. Like, I don't know if you're considering the states, but that's what I'm getting with this. Alrighty. Thank you, Eureka. Thanks for being a member. Why am I so attracted to Jay? Gosh dang it, Jay. All right. Let me pull for I Speak My Truth. Computer mouse squeaking. Yeah, sorry, I'm so behind on these comments. I think that's such a great question. I Speak My Truth. I wish more people would ask that instead of like, what do they think of me? Because Because I feel like when you can reflect more on yourself and understand your own emotions, it can actually be more helpful. So I just got the Hermit. I feel like I need additional information. So this is about you. Oh, okay. So I feel like this has been you lately. I speak my truth. You might have been in hermit mode. Maybe you've been a little bit more introverted. Maybe just not even dating as much. And I feel like when you think of his energy, it's kind of like this lantern. And it's like, oh my gosh, he's so exciting. He's so bright. He's so fun. And it's kind of like this light in the dark. I don't want to call it a dark tunnel, but that's like the words they're putting in my head of, what you've been through lately. And so I think this is both good placed and bad placed. It's recognizing that, I need, kind of a beacon of hope and something light to be drawn towards. But at the same time, am I placing that in a person who maybe can't give that to me? Is there something else that could replace that? And I'm just actually going to ask that question. Reflect on your priorities again. I speak my truth. Let me just pull one card to give you further clarity on this. What are we talking about? It's the stuff you don't like doing. And maybe it's a little bit more around like the practical, physical, like work, money. And this guy is basically, he's in the middle of a project. He's building these pentacles. It's tedious. It's long, boring work. It seems like it's never ending when you're in the middle of it, but there is an end to it. And what I like about this card is it's basically saying there's moments in life where you have to deal with something. It could be dealing with your emotions, dealing with actual hard work. It's the things you don't want to face. Maybe it's, your mental health, especially with like the Hermit card. And reflecting on kind of what's going on in your life might actually help you understand your emotions more. Because what was my question? It was who, instead of like looking towards him as like a bright beacon of light. Okay. Ignore what I'm saying. This is what it means. Basically, what it is like he's kind of like this awesome bright light. And this is something that you need in your life. And to have that yourself without looking outside of yourself, it's all about focusing on those things mentally, the things you're ignoring emotionally, mentally, the things you don't like doing that you don't want to put work into, that maybe, honestly, I feel like it's where you've been stuck for the last little bit. And I think really what you want is an escape from all of that. And so he seems kind of like this perfect encapsulation of it in a way. That doesn't mean, you can't not like him or pursue that. But, to some extent, there's always something about someone else that attracts us to them that is a reflection of ourselves, if that makes sense. So I think that's a fantastic question to ask, actually. Because one thing I've learned a lot recently is that your partner cannot provide for all your wants and needs. And I think we live in a society where we're told that your partner has to take care of you like 24/7, and they have to fulfill all your emotional needs, which is just like completely, what's the word I'm looking for? Not the best expectations. All right. Thank you, Amanda. That's what I'm trying to figure out. We're trying to do Rover. We used to go to Camp Bow Wow, and we've been there for years, and we basically didn't take our dog in 2020 because we didn't go anywhere. So we had to do like a re-interview process, and we took my dog in, and they told me my dog was aggressive and he would not be allowed to come back. And I was like, I was watching him the entire time. He did nothing aggressive. So like, I don't know. And me being intuitive and just like understanding the situation is just like, I know that my dog is not aggressive. I know that the lady judging him was having a really rough day, and I don't know. It fell through, which was really inconvenient. So screw Camp Bow Wow. That's how I feel. It's been super stressful, but we're trying Rover. Bunny Rabbit, did you ask the same question twice? I'm just wanting to make sure. Okay. I'll figure out my mouse, sorry, before next time. So, Bunny Rabbit, I just wanted to double check. You already asked that question and I already answered it. So, do you want me to answer another question for you? Just want to double check. Hi, Kelly. Hey, everyone. So, normally I try to do free guessing game readings, but when people donate, I do those first. And if we have extra time, we will catch up. But let's see. Who was I asking? Let me write this down because I was on Bunny again. And then we've got Kelly. November. Okay. So I like how I was like spring and then Scorpio is November. So maybe it's like an either or. And I think too, Eureka, as it gets closer, you'll probably be able to feel that out. You'll know if you're still in the planning stage or if you're like ready to go. Move to Colorado. Come hang out with Lori and I. Let Lauren know if you Venmo. Yeah, I also have a Venmo if you guys don't want to do super chat. It's more like a crush, but makes sense. What kind of dog is he? He is a husky. All right, and then we've got Jana. My Venmo is, I always forget, it's either Lauren Psy or Psy Lauren PSY. It's in the description though. But yes. Oh, it's for your friend. I see. I was like, okay. Okay, so same question, but for your friend. But yeah, Amanda, I've got like several requests out to people local, and I'm like, I need someone to get back to me. And a few people have gotten back to me, but like, I just need them to like confirm that they're available. Ooh. Okay. So Gabriella, sorry. I think this hike is going to be very awesome for you. This is the 10 of Cups. This is all about being totally in tune with like your heart, your emotions. And this card, like the energy that I get from it is like just fulfilled. You feel fulfilled. You've got people around you making you feel happy. So I think that this hike is actually going to be a lot of fun for you. It's going to make you leave feeling like, wow, I have such amazing like friends and people around me. The advice for you though, and I kind of got this, and this dude is kind of looking over at this family, and look at him, he's all like suspicious, and he's like, screw these people. And I feel like, you know, if anything, your energy might lean in towards this, like maybe you get jealous of somebody during the night, or maybe you start to question your own intuition and you're like, this is too good to be true. Like, this can't be so much fun. And, you know, all these people are so happy. Like, I don't fit in here. And so this is kind of about leaning into that energy of like, why am I saying this to myself? Why am I trying to distance myself from everyone else when everything is so great? And I actually feel like it's a lot to do with like your childhood. I feel like it's like a defense mechanism of whenever something was good, it might have been taken away from you, Gabriella. So whenever something good starts to happen, it almost triggers this like red flag in your mind of like, oh, anytime this happens, something bad is about to happen. But try to rephrase it in your mind of like, no, this can be fun. This can be amazing. Like, I don't have to be suspicious and sabotage myself or my emotions. And one last card for Gabby. First quarter moon in Virgo. First thing I'm getting with this, there's like a woman meditating. It looks like the place in Peru. I've always wanted to go there. I can't remember what it's called. It's like that city that's like way on top of the mountain. And this says assess the situation. And especially with like Virgos, this to me is telling you to like lean into your analytical side and be like, what's happening here? Is there anything legitimately going on that would make me feel like, these people are trying to sabotage me or that I don't belong? Like, I feel like it's trying not to lean too much into the anxiety of your emotions and trusting those more than like the analytical, like nothing has happened. No one has said anything, like nothing bad has happened. I don't know where these thoughts are coming from. So this is saying to kind of lean more into the analytical side of your mind versus the opposite, which is Pisces. We were talking about this earlier. Pisces is more like mystical, subconscious, intuitive. Really approach tonight with like a little bit more practicality and, just look at things at face value. Try not to read into it too much or else you're going to get all like suspicious like this guy. Try to just enjoy it. I think it's going to be a really great night for you. I'm so curious. What are you guys going on this hike for? Just like fun friend hike? Alrighty. Thank you guys. Okay, I just need to probably put a cap on the donations because my assumption is like, they're going to stop donating eventually, but you guys are awesome and you're not. So let me figure out where I'm at. Okay, so we got Kelly and then Jana and then Johnny and Erica. Thank you guys. I'm probably going to cap it off at Erica. So after Erica, maybe we'll do one free reading and then call it good. But more just to keep myself from not going too terribly late tonight. But thank you guys. I appreciate it. So Kelly wants to know anything her guides want you to know. Let me reshuffle these. And let me know too for everyone, because I'm going to be filming that pick a card reading this Friday, what you guys want to know about the new year. Like what questions, if you were to come to me for a reading about 2022, like what do you really want to know? Okay. So we're doing Kelly right now. I don't think that's the card I'm supposed to pull. Okay. I just keep pulling this card for everybody. Both of these cards. So Kelly, the first card that I pulled for you is the Five of Cups. And the Five of Cups is definitely like about emotional struggles. And this is like all of his cups are falling over. He's all sad because they fell over. And this is just somebody who's kind of, I don't want to say throwing a pity party. You could either just have had a lot of things happen to you to where you feel like you're just not in control of life. And because of it, you're really sad or really down. And I pulled the same two cards that we've been pulling for everyone tonight. And that is to reflect on your priorities and take a breather. To me, though, for you, this just feels like the reason why you might be a little bit emotionally drained, like why your cups might not be filled, is you're focusing on the wrong things. Like maybe you're focusing on everybody else, everyone else, and you're not actually saying, hey, what are my priorities? Like I need to actually prioritize time for myself at the end of the day. I need to prioritize time for the things that get me excited. And especially with the take a breather card, I feel like that's just kind of doubly like saying, hey, this is all about self-care. I want to just pull one more card. I'm going to just ask like, why is this happening? So maybe you can get a little bit clearer about why it's happening so we can kind of get at the source of it. Nine of Cups. I think you've been trying to go after goals, manifest things. I feel like you have this idea of what you want in your head, and you're almost there, and it's like coming your way, but it's also like you're not that quite there yet. And so you're kind of experiencing this burnout or feeling like you want to give up like 10 seconds before you get there. So I think why this is happening is you're trying to manifest something. And to me, this is at least know that it's coming your way, and you don't have to push yourself so hard. I feel like you're pushing yourself to a point where you're going to give up on it before you even get there. So it's very important to focus on your priorities. How can you shift them to better take care of yourself and take a break? Alrighty. Thank you, Kelly. Jana. Thank you, Jana. I don't know that conversion. Is that like the equivalent of $10? I want to feel like it is, because I feel like it's less if it were like $5. What do my spirit guides want me to know? Also, another question. My dad's friend Jerry passed in October. I'm wondering what he wants to say to me. Okay. Also, Jana, I know you messaged me. I'm super bad at Facebook, so I'm going to get back to you. I literally have a list of like people that I need to get back to on like Instagram, Facebook. I'm also really bad at opening things and then leaving them. All right, what do my spirit guides want me to know? Ooh, okay. This makes sense. So first I pulled Page of Wands, and the Page of Wands is all about kind of thinking about the things that light you up, the things that get you excited, your passions, and deciding to kind of have a fresh start around it. You know, you need a little bit of a fresh start when it comes to the things that you're excited and passionate about. Maybe you haven't been able to give that area of your life much time. And what your guides are saying is that they're going to give you the intuitive hits on what it looks like, how to get there, kind of what to pursue. So pay attention. You're not being asked to like pursue something that's, you know, totally out of the blue, or even just not necessarily out of the blue as much as like without guidance. And the Ace of Cups is basically saying, hey, we're going to come in here. We're going to help you. We're going to give you ideas. Really, I see this as intuitive hits of like how to pursue things and what to pursue, especially in regards to things that you're excited about. And let me pull one more from this deck. Interesting. And this card is also Aquarius. Be real. I feel like this is being real and honest with yourself about the things you're excited about. Honestly, I'm getting that this is kind of like permission to start looking at the things that you're passionate about, have that kind of fresh outlook on it so that you can really push it to the next level of what it's supposed to be. Like, I feel like this is turning something that you would define as like a hobby into something a little bit more serious. Only if you want to, and just know that your guides are going to give you those intuitive hits and kind of lead you in the right direction if you aren't sure like where to go. I feel like I need to go look up this card because there's also like a person dumping water into this. And to me, I mean, that energy is basically saying like you're putting in energy into the things that you care about and that you want to manifest. I think there's this fear of like, oh, I don't know where to go next, or I don't have any good ideas, or it's been so stagnant or old. And this is saying, don't worry, we got you. We're going to help you figure out what those ideas are and what those next fresh ideas are. And your second question was, Jerry. I'm just calling in Jerry's energy. Like, the only thing that's really coming across, okay, and he's telling me this is related. Like, he's showing me himself in a work environment. I don't know if he was like a very busy dude, but he's kind of giving me this energy of like, I'm very busy. Like, I did a lot at work, you know, I put a lot of energy into things, and I kind of got, no, I actually feel like he's saying like he didn't actually get much out of it. But he's like saying if he had a second chance, he would do it differently. It's almost this energy of, I put in a lot, but I should have demanded more. And I feel like I was saying it's related because he's kind of saying like, for whatever your guides are talking about with your like spark, with your passion, I actually feel like this is something that could make you money down the line. And I feel like he's kind of giving you the same energy of like, you don't have to work hard or slave for somebody else and then not make anything. Like, you have the power and the control over your finances. And I didn't have that, and I wish I did. So he's coming in and very much like focusing on you. And then I just heard he's also around your dad every now and then. But he's like, your dad doesn't really like know that he's there. So he's not really focused on like bugging him a whole lot. Let me see. I'm just going to ask him to communicate through these cards if there's anything else that I might be missing that he might want to say to you. Oh, no, you are loved. Oh my gosh, how perfect. This card kind of worked as a really good mediumship card. That's actually kind of good to know. Maybe I'll use these during a mediumship reading. No, you are loved. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. New moon in Libra. And honestly, Jana, this card is giving me like Mount Fuji vibes. I wonder if like that has any relation to like where you're at or like where he lived. That's like the only thing I'm getting with that. And then the fact that this is new moon in Libra as well, like Libra is definitely the sign of like harmony, balancing the scales, especially like partnerships with other people. So maybe there's also a message there of like working with other people, if that's something that resonates. Alrighty. Thank you, Jana. Lori, she said a desert. We are really close to that right now. No kidding. You guys, like, we have not had snow or rain or moisture in so long. It's actually kind of like scary. And somebody who's lived in Colorado her whole life, like, it has been making me so nervous that we haven't gotten like snow. We got snow last week finally, but we broke records. The last time that we didn't have this much snow was like Dust Bowl era. Crazy. We might get some tomorrow, but it sounds like we're going to get more wind than anything. Thank you. She's got my Venmo. All right, and I had Jenna, Johnny, Erica. After Erica, probably wrap it up. We'll do one game tonight after Erica. I really like ending with at least one free reading. Just to make it worth those people that didn't want to make a donation. We are going to seek more information to our awakening. Ooh, so like a meditative hike. Love it. I keep wondering if it's summer where they are hiking. We are doing shrooms. That makes sense. It's kind of like this message of don't put any expectations around it. Like, don't try to control it. Let it be what it's supposed to be. I will do the guessing game. 2022 reading. What do I need to focus on for the new year? Yeah, I think I was going to do like what do you need to focus on to manifest? What do you need to focus on to like get through challenges? Was one of the other questions that I was going to ask. Will we finally learn to live with COVID? Oh gosh, are you guys? That's such a bummer. I will say from what I've heard from other psychics, especially astrologists and numerologists, like even though I don't quite put too much stock into it, I do listen to a lot of other astrologists, and a lot of people have been saying that like 2020 and 2021 were supposed to kind of feel like the same year, and that really in 2022 we're going to get a shift. It's not going to be completely over. I've heard it's going to take like another year for us to really feel like we're back to normal. but there's going to be a big, like a much bigger shift moving into 2022 energy wise. I don't know about Australia. But heck, you know what, Johnny, that's a good point, because COVID has just been so much a part of our lives. Maybe I'll add just kind of like one card per reading of like, what do we need to know about all of that? Like, how can we come out of the pandemic, even if it's just mentally? That's a great suggestion, actually, because I feel like a lot of people want to know that to some extent. Take your time. I just wanted to let you know I wasn't like ignoring you. And I haven't forgotten about you, Johnny or Erica. That's a yes or no question. This is true. And I'd probably change that. What do we need to know about the future? You're an Aquarius moon. You're welcome, Jenna. Could you do a reading for each rising sign? Might take forever, just an idea. Oh, yeah. See, that's the thing, is I have to film it Friday, and I have a reading on Friday, and then Friday nights are my husband's night, so I have to I have to get back home on time. It's not that we don't want to donate. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I should have said that better. That's why I want to do one guessing game at the end. Okay, I'll definitely address COVID in each pile. I think I'm going to do 3 piles. So, all right, back to Johnny. Johnny, who are my spirit guides and how can I connect to them? Ooh, okay. Probably not going to be cards, so I mean, I guess I could pull a tarot card to describe them. This is kind of interesting, Johnny, because I do feel like you have several guides, and I was getting like animals, like definitely like a deer. The one that's coming through more, though, it seems like just like blue light. And I asked, like, is there anything else there? And I heard like will of the wisp. I don't know if maybe you resonate with that. There's a whole lot of folklore around those. I don't know much about them, so maybe checking in or looking into those. But I just heard will. I'm pretty sure. I mean, I can't say that there's not something that couldn't be a guide. Guides can appear however they want. I'm just going to ask, though, what that blue energy means. It feels like a guide that's here to help you a little bit more with, like, shadow work. I was also hearing, like, hibernation. I was feeling clairsentiently, like, going inwards, like, hiding from the world. It's like a guide who's here to help Johnny with, like, that inner stuff that, she doesn't really share with everybody else. And I pulled a tarot card and I just asked this guide, like, what else is this guide here to help you with? And I pulled the 10 of Pentacles again. And this is kind of like when all of your practical, physical, material needs are met. And so maybe she's here to kind of help you on that journey. I'm hearing for now, because I feel like that's first for you. Like, I feel like once those needs are met, then you're going to be able to breathe more. And then she's like, and then I actually want to help you with what I'm going to help you with, which is like, again, that more like internal, darker shadow work. It's like dealing with the emotions that we kind of like bottle up or have hidden for a long time. Like, she wants to unlock that. And she's like, and she's saying, and I don't even know when I started calling her a she, but I guess she's a more feminine energy to me. But it's kind of about like taking you into yourself and unlocking new versions of yourself. She's like showing me like a key opening in your chest, and then you like opening it up and there's like a smaller version of you, and it's like deeper and deeper and more keys. So she's definitely here to help you with, it's almost like the psychology behind you of like why you react the way you do. And it's almost like these epiphanies around, oh, well, I I had this experience when I was a child, and so that makes sense. And I feel like she's going to help you piece together these things about yourself that you might not have been aware of. And it's going to be like aha moments. And okay, and now she's telling me that's why she's like a will of the wisp, is because that visually is like representation of like an epiphany. I don't know. That's a very interesting way of describing herself. That's kind of cool. But let's ask how you can connect to them. Pull one tarot card. How can you connect? I freaking love these cards. I'm sorry. I love these. Gosh, this is like my new favorite. They're just so pretty to look at. And I think that's the thing, is when you read a lot and you read cards that are just visually yucky to look at, you just get tired of them and you stop using them as much. So I really enjoy looking at these. Okay, so we were asking how you can connect to them. This is interesting because I pulled the Knight of Pentacles. To me, honestly, Johnny, like I feel like part of why you're having trouble connecting is I'm getting just like a little bit of an energy of survival mode around you. And the Knight of Pentacles is somebody who's kind of like, knights are realizations. Okay. So realizations around practical stuff. So yeah, to me, this is kind of like, I feel like you're distracted by the practical things in your life, day-to-day stuff. It could be money. It could be, your to-do list, your schedule, very like practical earthly matters. Going and getting the groceries, I got to do laundry today. I feel like those are being very distracting to you. And there needs to be this realization that, these are distracting me from connecting to my intuition. And so just having that realization can be helpful. And then I also got, know you are loved. And to me, Johnny, this is sort of like, I kind of feel like you're like, oh, well, I don't know who my guides are. I don't even know if they're real. Like, I don't think that they're actually looking out for me because I haven't ever connected with them. This is kind of, I feel like this is where everyone starts when you're getting to know your guides. There's this aura of like, I don't deserve their attention or their information because, I just don't know who they are. And so I would just move forward and ask them to like give you signs and, ask them to introduce yourself, or maybe introduce themselves, maybe going out of your way to talk to them, do some automatic writing and say, hey guys, what do you have to say for me? Or a shamanic journey or something. Because I feel like right now there's a little bit of you that just feels like you don't deserve to connect to your guides. And I feel like that's probably unintentionally blocking you. As well as kind of this energy about like being just distracted by daily life. And that's huge, especially when you're not really connecting with your intuition a whole lot. Day-to-day stuff can just make you forget that you have guides and that you can connect to them. Even I just get distracted by my to-do list sometimes and I forget to connect to my guides. And then the last thing is step into your power. This is Aries energy, but I'm really being drawn to the solar. You can't really see it, but there's like the solar plexus chakra. So maybe focusing on your solar plexus, doing a solar plexus meditation, connecting with the color yellow, and heck, maybe even doing yoga. This chick is like doing yoga over here. But stepping into your power, kind of the energy that I'm getting around this is just actually trusting your psychic ability. Like, I feel like this is what it all comes down to, is like you're distracted by daily life. You maybe don't trust that they're there or that they're looking out for you. And the solar plexus is all about confidence. And so if your confidence and your trust is not there in your ability to connect with them, it's probably going to be harder to connect with them. So I would start there, and you can even give yourself the affirmation, I connect with my guides. And sometimes that helps. Or you can do, again, a solar plexus meditation, or just do things that make you feel more confident so that you can channel that energy into connecting with your guides. Awesome. I need a drink of water. And then I'll get to Erica. Knowing they're here, knowing they're there, and I deserve them. Yes, I mean, even to this day, I sort of have moments where I'm like, do they even care about me? Am I like here? Like, do they? I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like I have those moments too, even though I connect to everyone else's guides. Sometimes you just kind of lose confidence in, oh, maybe they don't love me. So you can ask for signs. Show me that you love me. Like, there's nothing wrong with saying that. You definitely have a rabbit spirit guide. I'm sure of it. I also have felt my dogs I used to have as guides. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Whenever somebody asks for guides, it's always like, trying to narrow it down because I usually see so many on top of seeing my own. So I have to like weed out my own. But I always go with the one that was first. And I don't think I've ever, like, I've gotten energy that didn't really have a form before. And maybe it was just like a ball of light, but this one very specifically said will o' the wisp, which is interesting. So I would kind of look into the origins of that more. I want to say it's definitely European. I think I could be wrong. All right, let's get to Erica, and then we will do one free reading, and then we will wrap up for tonight. Hi, Lauren. When will my mom's business stabilize? It's a bit shaky. Or take off down the line. Should I prep for to help her financially? Okay. So before I answer those questions, I'm going to actually ask, like, what's the overall energy that's blocking this from happening? And then I'm going to kind of get into the more detailed stuff. And I will say before I even pull these cards, I am getting that it's totally like COVID related, which I feel like you know that. But it feels like if it weren't for COVID, this wouldn't be a problem. And I'm going back. They're reminding me of the words that I just told you guys about the 2022, about how there is supposed to be a bigger shift next year. Because I think, coming into this year, we were all like, we're going to get rid of this. Like, oh, the vaccines are here. We're going to get back to normal. And then it like never happened. But I actually feel like moving into 2022, it's going to happen a little bit more. It's not going to be fully complete and back to where it was, but it's going to be a sizable difference. And I'm feeling like I'm supposed to say that because that's partly what's affecting it. But let's ask, what is that overall energy? How do I read that? This is why I'm practicing my tarot. What is the over... Oh, okay. Okay, interesting. So I love this card. This is like such a happy, good card. And this is the Four of Wands. And this is like celebration, people coming together. There's a very stable, like, what is it called? Not an altar, but like I don't know, a thingy. What are those called? But this is like a celebration, happiness. And so I was like, how is that the overall cause of her business being so shaky? And then I'm realizing, it's because it's a lack of. And I think people, like, her business definitely relies on other people, like, to come in and give her business. And because people have been in this like mental state, because of COVID, also I'm hearing because they just haven't had the funds. It's like they can't focus on the luxury of whatever she's selling. People just haven't had the extra funds or just like been able to get into the mental state of getting into, oh yes, I can have what your mom was offering. Like, I hope the way I'm describing this is making sense, but it's really clear to me of like, in order for people to buy her product or whatever she's selling, her service, people have to be in this state. And they haven't been in this state for a while. And there's a few people that are, but because of like what's been going on, not as many have been kind of in this receptive state to where they can purchase her stuff. So that's kind of like, I wanted to ask what the overall thing is before I got into your other questions. So When will it stabilize? I'm hearing spring again. Let me pull a card. I feel like stabilize and taking off are going to be two very different things. As far as taking off, I'm hearing that she needs to learn a little bit more about like marketing and money mentality. I'm giving, I would recommend Denise Duffield Thomas for that. Scorpio again. It's like exactly what happened with Eureka, where I said spring, and then I'm getting October, November season with Scorpio. Maybe, and heck, maybe it's even that it'll stabilize in spring and take off in October. I'm actually feeling like that might be more the case. But let's ask really quick what's needed for it to take off, because the stabilization part, I'm getting very clearly that that's kind of out of her control. That's what's reliant on everybody else. But the taking off is her. Yeah. And she needs to understand that it's going to take off when she can start really networking with other people and bringing people together. And really, I'm seeing it as like her getting a lot clearer on like, I'm providing this service and I'm not doing it for money necessarily. I'm doing it to help these people. And these people are like, yeah, we love what you're selling us. I don't know. I hope I'm explaining this well. Because I think she's focused a little too much on the lack and what's not working. And this is more about, no, I'm going to actually go back to my product and make sure my product or my service is really excellent. And really making other people happy. You know, because there's people that make products and they don't really care how it affects other people. But I feel like your mom really understands like how to help other people. And because of that, that's what's going to help her take off, is when she can step into that next level and stop kind of getting out of her head of, you know, the past of what's happened. I'm just going to bump down the comments. She has a restaurant that is partially relying on banquets, which is not easy now. So the Four of Wands, oh my gosh, is on point on multiple levels. You're so right. All right, and let me answer your last question. Should I prep for her financially? I'm going back to that spring. If things have not improved by spring, yes. Because like the message there is like, if things have not improved, she really should not be putting herself in debt for this, because it's not going to get better. But if it turns around kind of on its own, I think she's going to be fine. Will she get some deals or any help in the future? I'm just going to pull one card for that. Yes. So this is the Six of Cups, and this is literally about sharing your heart, sharing gifts. And it literally has like one little kid sharing this gift to another little girl. I would say yes, but I'm also getting to like be cautious and not be completely reliant on that. I just feel like by March, if things have not significantly turned around, then kind of take this reading as, okay, future has changed a little bit. Now we need to reevaluate. I hope it works out for her, Erica. But also, like, her guides are like, but don't go into debt for it. Like, it's not worth it. She can always come back and start something else. I bet restaurants have been probably taking it the hardest. Alrighty. Thank you, Erica. All right. Where was I? We have so many spirit guides, and not just one. Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure I'm not even in touch with all of mine. Unknown donated readings. Oh. Let me just make sure nobody did donate on Venmo. I don't think so. We're good. I'm so excited about this deck. Sometimes you get decks and you're like disappointed, but other times you're like, oh my gosh, that's how I feel about these cards. I think it will. She's very aware of not falling into debt. Awesome. Well, I think she's probably very on top of it intuitively. Oh, thank you, Yurika. Just wanted to point out that Scorpio new moons are always in the spring, May-ish. Ooh. See, that's why I think I'm going to love these cards. I'm going to learn more about it. Full moon in Scorpio. So heck, maybe even looking up when the next full moon in Scorpio is. Maybe that's not even during, well, yeah, because that wouldn't be during Scorpio season, right? It's like random. I'm learning about astrology. Astrology I know the least about. I looked up Will of the Wisp. It's like a spirit fairy that helps with unrealistic goals. Specifically unrealistic goals. Interesting. Well, and even if like you look that up and somebody else looked it up and found something different, there's something about it that you're supposed to find and resonate with. Awesome. Let's do our guessing game reading. Thank you guys for sticking around. I am thinking of an animal. If you can think of the animal that I'm thinking of, you will get this last kind of free reading for everyone. Just remember, next week we're going to be doing like a winter solstice, new moon, new intention setting thing for the new year. So join me next week. I was reading her question, but I need to find out. Scottish. Yeah, and that's exactly what I was thinking of, was brave. But I'm like, I don't know how much of that is right. Bear, Jana, you got it. And although Jana donated, she can still get one free reading. That's kind of like my rule. So Jana, let me know if you have another question. And Jana got that reading. So somebody asked, I don't use decks, but scribe thoughts from energies. Heck yes, Jeffrey. So that's basically like automatic writing. And as far as suggestions, my thing is just to hone that psychic ability more, hone your clairs more, so that you can get that information clearer. You don't need cards at all. I was actually taught not to use any sort of tools and to rely only on my psychic abilities. And when you hone your clairs and your psychic abilities and you practice more, even if you're doing automatic writing, it'll absolutely help, because then you're more familiar with that psychic information, how it comes through, and then you'll be able to write a lot better. But I love automatic writing. I feel like the majority of my subscribers find me through my automatic writing video. It's like the most popular video that I have. What was I going to say though? So I'm assuming you've seen it, but if not, I have a whole video on it. I've had a lot of interesting things happen as well lately. I've gotten my first 2 sponsorship proposals. So people contacting me, wanting to pay me to sponsor their brand, which is cool because I feel like it's like a rite of passage. But both of them were like products. I was like, no, I am not going to promote this. But it's cool. Step in the right direction. That's why to do with coworkers. They are brave. I'm confused. Sorry, the movie Brave by Pixar had Will of the Wisps in it. That's what we were talking about. You want to give your reading to your husband. Awesome. He's working hard with the government and works with some older men with different work ethics. And he's about to sign a contract, but they are... I'm sure she's still typing. Your automatic drawing end results are a bit different. Yeah, and I'm sure everyone's are going to be different than mine. I don't quite know how to go about reading them. Don't I talk in that video about how to like look at them? I mean, honestly, it's about looking. Well, maybe share one of your photos with me, because yeah, if it's like a different photo, maybe I can give you ideas. Kelly, are you in our Facebook group? If you're willing to share it there, I can possibly give you specifics based on, because I know some people are more abstract. You know, my automatic drawings are very literal. Ooh, changing things in the contract that doesn't match. Dudes, why do they always got to do that? All right. Ooh, yeah, Johnny, definitely like the first, like the Will of the Wisp are a pretty big thing in that movie. All right. So I am reading Jana because Jana got our guessing game. So we're reading For Your Husband. I'm trying to figure out what question to ask, but they're changing. Okay. Anything that can guide him. Yeah, I'll just kind of ask like more advice on the situation. Like if there's anything he's not seeing, that's probably a good question to ask. So that he can better make a decision. Okay, what's going on? What is he not seeing? And advice. Okay. So I know I pulled this card earlier, but I'm definitely getting the opposite now of what's going on, hoarding of the money. So they're a little bit worried about their money, and maybe it's because of, like, I'm also hearing that this has to do with like end of the year stuff. Like I feel like if they could wait until the new year, they would be approaching this a lot differently. I'm definitely getting he should not take this personally. It's more like they're not doing it to be like, oh, let's screw over your husband. It's more of like, oh, we're a little bit nervous about the state of things, and so they're trying to just save some money. So what did I ask? What was going on? That was how to handle it. Oh, what he's not seeing is that he's actually going to be financially compensated pretty darn well. This is, again, like any of the aces, they have kind of this hand coming out of the cloud. And this is like magical money, finances, stability, practical things being provided to you from the universe. This is saying that you don't have to work for this versus like, the 10 of Pentacles, that by the time you get through the whole tarot, so like it goes ace through 10, right? And it's always about a journey of somebody kind of getting from the start to the finish. And if it was the 10 of Pentacles, which is saying it's all provided for, that's like the type of provision that you have to work hard for. Whereas the aces are basically saying this is like magical money that just falls into your lap. You don't have to do anything for it. So what's being hidden from him is like he's going to be provided for, is going to be fine. I think it's just scaring him, especially because they're being stingy with their money. But this is basic. I'm really feeling like there's nothing to be worried about here. And I was feeling that before the cards were even being pulled. I feel like the energy is just a little stressed, but I actually don't feel like he's getting screwed over. Could be wrong. We'll see. But, and then how he can handle it is with strength, knowing that he has got it. He has the ability to handle this, that he doesn't need to be confrontational, but if he does need to be confrontational, he can do it in a way that I'm hearing pragmatic, diplomatic. He doesn't need to make a scene or make a big fuss or like quit his job. He's got the strength to handle this, and I think he's going to be just fine. I'm sorry, unknown. You're not being a Karen. This, I'm going to cut it off after this reading. Sorry if that wasn't clear. I've been on for almost like 2 hours, but I will be back next Tuesday if you want to subscribe and maybe catch me then. Mine are very abstract. Yeah, and see, with the abstract stuff, sometimes you might not be able to find symbols as much as you just kind of look at the general mood of it. Like, what are the colors? Like, what is the vibe? Like, if you were walking into an art gallery and you were looking at an abstract painting, how does it make you feel? And so you might have to come at it from more of that perspective. Kelly, am I crazy? But did you send me one already? But maybe it's also helpful to hand it to somebody else as well. But I can give you more tips on the Facebook group if you want to. Okay, so yeah, Jana, I feel like I feel like this is a test of his inner strength, of it being like, oh, should he run at the first sign of trouble, or should he trust the universe and trust that he's not going to get himself into a bad situation? I really feel pretty good about it. Let me pull one of these cards just because I want to play with these cards. Ooh, assess the situation. And again, this is Virgo. So this is like assessing it from a very analytical, mental sort of way, not getting into your emotions, not trying to read into it like super subconsciously or intuitively, really looking at it from face value. If he's feeling like maybe confused about anything that I said, at the very core of it, at least assess it very like analytically. Any suggestions to improve my remote viewing skills? Ooh, yeah. So I've been struggling with the difference between remote viewing and clairvoyance. Honestly, I think they're the same thing. It's just clairvoyance in the present. Like you're trying to get an intuitive hit about the present. So I would, Jeffrey, at least start with my clairvoyance video. And I eventually want to, like, I've got a list of a bajillion videos to make, and one of them that I wanted to talk about was remote viewing, but I need to hear more one-on-one accounts of like what people define as remote viewing, because I intuitively feel like it's the same thing as clairvoyance, it's just another name for it, but I need to make sure there's not something I'm missing, if that makes sense, and I just haven't had time to research it. But even if I'm wrong and they are different, honing your clairvoyant abilities will also help with remote viewing, because you're focusing on your eyesight. You're focusing on looking. And also, Jeffrey, shamanic journeying, when you go to the middle world, that is technically remote viewing in a way. So when you do shamanic journeys, you go to one of three worlds. That's what people in these shamanic religions believed. There was the world that we live on, which is where we're at now, and this is called the middle world. And then there's the upper world and the lower world. But it's not like heaven and hell. It's very different than like how Christians view it. And so when you go into a shamanic journey, you choose which world you want to be on. And so if you choose the middle world, it's like you're walking around in this current reality, which I think is supposed to be very similar to like remote viewing, I think. So maybe try shamanic journeying. And I have a video on it. And then there's a book, a really small book by Sandra Ingerman called, I want to say it's like An Introduction to Core Shamanism, or no, maybe it's just Shamanic Journeying. It's a really tiny book, but I feel like those skills would also cross over. Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. I like how you called yourself a Karen. What I defined as Karen is way worse than that. You're too funny. You did send me one. Okay, I was going to say, like, I remember somebody sending, like, a really abstract one. Yeah, well, send me the new one, and maybe we can all, like, dissect it together. Really, that's what I want that group to be, is people sharing their exercises, getting other people's opinions, and, like, me instructing by example. Seem to be really stressed with all the passive aggressive. Like, I really, Jana, feel like it's nothing personal. I know they're acting that way, but it feels like they're just doing it to get attention, but it's not actually going to affect what's going to happen. It almost feels like they're doing it to, like, it's like a lot of males do this, like, and I shouldn't categorize it to just males, but it's kind of like the power play of, like, well, at any time I could just pull this out from under the rug, you know. It's kind of like that energy, but nobody's actually serious. But he called them out. Yeah, see, and that's important with that strength card, was to rely on that, because there might be a little bit of a test of, like, well, are you going to back down and let this happen, or are you going to call it out in a nice, you know, non-confrontational, very pragmatic, diplomatic way? Am I still going to run a tarot course? Yes, eventually. I need to get more practice, which is why I'm doing this tonight and why I'm doing it on my Instagram. Yeah. Dominance. Yes, exactly. Of course. Thank you, Jana. Yeah, but I don't think I'm going to do it for a while. If I do it, it might be like a webinar version first where I kind of like test it out and do it for cheaper, where it's like, oh, hey, 2-3 weeks where you have to show up online and I teach the course, and then maybe it gives me some ideas for actually turning it into like a recorded course. That's kind of like how I'm thinking about approaching it. Because one thing that I didn't do with all of my previous courses was I just kind of put them up and didn't test them really with actual people. And as time goes on and I get feedback from people from those courses, it's like, oh, I could have said that better. Oh, I should have added this. And so I think what I'm going to do from here on out is actually kind of pre-test my courses a little bit by actually doing it in person or doing like a webinar style thing where it's not recorded, and then following it up with an actual recorded course, if that makes sense. Oh, I know, Kelly, and my stupid, it took me a while to figure out the Instagram crap. I was actually messaging Jana about it. I was like, did you get a notification about this? And I finally figured it out, because if I delete my original question, it deletes all the answers. And I thought that it would stay up, like, because I wanted to take down the question so people would stop sending me questions. But it apparently deleted everything else. And it was so frustrating because I did all these readings and then I was like, oh, I'm going to delete the question so nobody else can like ask for something. And then it just deleted all my work. I was so mad that night, but I've got it figured out now. It won't happen again. But yeah, I'm definitely going to do a tarot course. My priority though is to update my, my psychic ability course for next year. So that might happen at the same time as I'm running kind of the intro tarot course. But again, I need more practice. And it's important to me that I make it my own and not just like copy the people that I get it from. Because I would probably do it a little bit differently than how this person taught me. So yeah, long answer. Sorry. They said they were going to work him to the bone, and I thought it was evil to say. Yeah, that is a little. I feel like they're stressed out about dumb stuff, and they're doing that power play. That sounds so exciting. No, LOL. It made me so mad. But I've got it figured out now. I won't be able to do it tomorrow because I'm going to be cleaning up my studio tomorrow, but possibly a Thursday. So yeah, follow me on Instagram because I definitely do want more practice with the tarot, and doing that on there is actually super helpful because then I can send you guys little video recordings. I can get practice, I can get feedback, and it's just a really easy way of doing it. So, all right. I think I'm done for readings tonight. Let me talk about next time you guys can catch me next week. And this week's video is going to be kind of those like tips and tricks that I'm giving out on how to be a better psychic reader. So I'm super excited about that. I feel like my tips were really good. It's long, but I'm proud of that video. Why do I have members still on my sheet? We don't have members anymore. Erasing this. I think that's it, you guys. Thank you for joining me tonight. I will see you next week. I will see you Friday when my video goes live. And in the meantime, connect with me in our Facebook group. Connect with me on Instagram, Facebook. Where else am I? TikTok sometimes. We'll see. I don't know why guys do that, Jana. Like, I feel like even watching my own dad like be in situations, like guys just like do that to like assert their dominance, and then it's like they agree on things and it's fine. It's like, why did they need to do this? Thank you, Yuricas. Thank you guys for being here. You guys have a fantastic night as well. I'm gonna jump off. And I didn't do a good job of sticking to my hour, but that's okay. I never do a good job. I appreciate you guys all being here. I have a ton of fun every single time. Oh, and I also have not forgotten about the Zoom party. I just have not had any good ideas around it. So I'm stuck. But if that happens, it'll probably be after the new year. So I'm going to make a note. Zoom party, tarot course, and then, yes. Thank you. Happy solstice. Merry Christmas. I will see you guys. My homework is to watch Brave. Awesome. Thank you guys. Have a fantastic rest of your night. Adios.